Energy makes things happen. Hi, my name's Alex. I've argued enough for a lifetime. Put your headphones on, sit back, relax, and enjoy your commute or whatever else you're really doing right now. Good night to those of you who use my content to fall asleep. In addition, please share and like or give a thumbs up or do whatever one does on the platform you use to consume content like this. Doing so will help me a lot. Thank you. Energy makes things happen. This is perhaps the simplest explanation of the term. And you know what? I have no problem using that explanation either, even though one might argue that it is a definition of what we put into the expression, not an actual definition of the term itself. We always use that sentence within a given framework, let's say as a teacher in the classroom. We fill the term energy with meaning and give it context in this way. Eventually, it takes patience to learn physics. And when you know energy, you pretty much know physics. Let's assume for a second that we already know what energy is, for physics is fundamentally about the following three questions. 1. Where is the energy now? 2. From whence, as they say, did the energy come? And 3. What happened along the way? Here's an example. We see Jupiter in the night sky. Jupiter is a planet. It's further away than you think. I mean, it is. How do we answer those questions? 1. The energy sits in the light which hits our eyes. 2. The energy comes from the sun which has radiated it. 3. The light hit Jupiter only to be scattered in all directions. Sorry, that's it really. Another more down-to-earth example is baseball, specifically pitching. The physics of baseball pitches is quite a bit more complex than one should think. Questions 1 and 3 are okay. The energy is in the movement of the ball, while the ball got its speed from being thrown. But where was the energy to begin with? The pitcher stands still before he starts moving like only baseball pitchers do. Does the energy wait in the body until it can finally be convulsed out into the ball like that? That's strange. Perhaps we just misunderstood something. So what is energy? In truth, I have no answer. Gee, thanks, you may say. For if we go back to the classroom, we can say we are teachers. Then we have students, and we are supposed to explain what energy is. The curriculum says so. The curriculum says that the students shall know what energy is, and we as teachers shall test the students on whether they do. Period. I mean, we can't do it like Newton and just think up our own reality. Or can we? Well, Newton hasn't really dreamt up his own reality either, to be honest. But we can still follow Newton's thoughts and see what happened. There's no apple at play, but Newton saw that an object falling from greater height hits the ground at higher speed. The speed increases during the fall. You've seen that too. It's intuitive. Energy as a concept is not important here, I think. We can show our students the equations and get them to work without talking about energy. You all know these equations. Even the pacifists among you have probably used them to calculate the landing place of bombs and other projectiles while being in school. When I was in school, I hated them. When I was at university, I started loving them. You derive from speed to velocity to acceleration and integrate the other way round. Most of all, you can see and measure that they describe your experiments properly. That is a beautiful insight in itself. Then we can introduce energy as an abstract concept and give a good reason for a missing definition. Because nothing in science is simple. You can be excused for not being able to put one and one together at all times. In fact, researchers do excuse each other for this. Just take the example of the projectiles again. Mostly, we calculate the trajectory without taking the resistance of air into account. Think about it. Once we do, things become very, and I mean very difficult. The first thing we do whenever something is completely new to us is always to find what isn't changing during a physical process. When using lasers for speed measurements, for example, we use the fact that the speed of light does not change significantly. while traveling through air. So it's important to know what stays constant. But we can't expect nature to always follow our thoughts. And that means that what stays constant doesn't need to be something we can easily grasp. Energy is simply one of those things. We use it because the total energy of a system never changes, whatever happens to that system. And when first starting to use the concept, we will recognize it in all sorts of contexts. Take the falling apples. It's the standard school example. Potential energy is being transformed into kinetic energy. Height becomes speed. Turn that motion sideways and you get a car hitting something harder than itself. The energy was at first kinetic, that is, in the speed of the car. Where is it now? Well, it's been used for something, deforming the car. That doesn't happen by itself. Speaking about collisions, on the atomic scale, collision and a host of other ways to transfer energy lead to, wait for it, chemistry. Granted, not all the bubbly stuff happening in beakers are collision-related reactions, but every reaction has to do with energy, which is transferred from one substance to another. In fact, chemists are increasingly becoming interested in looking at reactions in terms of energy. Once you do that properly, you enter physics, quantum physics to be exact. I know a few chemists who hate the idea of doing physics and even more who love it, but one thing is for certain. The subjects of chemistry and physics start melting into each other by means of energy. But enough about the abstract stuff, let's talk big balls. Sorry. I just mean that we can calculate what planets do and how they move by means of energy. We can do the same thing with the flight of smaller balls, like baseballs. I'm talking baseballs. It is all about energy, which is a concept we really can't describe better than through maths. We learn about it through experience in doing the maths. Energy is just something that doesn't change much, that's all. Thanks for staying with me to the end. Join me on socials and YouTube or check out kindnessthrughnowledge.com to book a presentation. See you next time.